Hi everybody, welcome to the Story Connection. I'm your host, Danna Wilberg. Well, today we've got a man who has been singing the blues since he's 5 years old. He's graced the stages at Monterey Bay Blues Festivals and all over town here. We'd like to welcome Gary Mendoza.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I think everybody loves the blues.
I think so.
Yeah. How did you, what was the passion? Where did the fire start?
Started very young, like you said, the age of 5. Both my grandmother and my father were both piano players. Now, my grandmother played piano, and she played gospel in church where, well, my daddy played the boogie woogie and honky tonk and bars and roadhouses. So, needless to say, he was my first inspiration on piano. He taught me a few notes and what have you, and then all of a sudden, every time we'd have a party at the house, I was there to entertain his friends and guests. So, yeah, and they always got a kick out of that. And so then after that, at the age of 10, I started to sing in the local fair contests along with the school talent shows, and just had a blast singing. I just used to love to sing. Back then, it was with the record player, so I'd have to just sing along with it. It wasn't really a background, a tape or anything, but I'll never forget those experiences.
Well, out of all the musical genres, it was the blues something that just got in your under your skin?
It did. I got to tell you, well, as early as the age of 10 is when I felt it, because the Beatles were my inspiration. Okay. We grew up pretty poor and didn't have a TV, but my grandparents lived right across from us, and they did. So I'll never forget, my grandfather called because he knew I loved to sing, and he called me and said, "Come here, you might want to watch this." So I run down there, and sure enough, the Beatles are making their debut on the Ed Sullivan show, and I just freaked out, man. I just went and sang with them, and I didn't know the songs, but I was just singing anyway after a few refrains that I heard singing, and my grandfather looked at me and said, "Something wrong with this kid," but no, but I felt it right there. I felt the bug, and when I did research on the Beatles, and along with Elvis Presley, of course, was there back then. I realized that they all got their music influences from the blues legends, and so of course I began to research a lot of the blues legends. So when it touched me right here, I know I was bit.
Yeah. Well, we've got some footage we're going to show of you singing the blues, and it's mighty fine. So
thank you.
Let's take a look.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get this body moving tonight. Yonder walk, coming down my walking path.
passion for the blues and music all your life. What was it like building a career? Were you able to pursue it? Did life get in the way? How did that go for you?
Well, we need to be here a while. I'll tell you the real story.
I won't make you cry, I promise.
No, again, growing up, we were very poor, and the home life was a little on the dysfunctional side, needs to say, say the least. But nevertheless, I found solace in pretty much in the music, and I really believe that the music is really what saved me. I just used to love to sing, and when it touched my heart, it would make me cry sometimes. There's this genre, and then I had a friend that used to play harmonica, and he played the blues harmonica, and I fell in love with that little guy. And so that's pretty much when I really felt that the blues was more than just pop music. It was something that was really felt from the heart. And so making a career out of it, there was a time when I was singing in the talent shows at school. Well, okay, I had to grow up to be kind of a tough kid, because I grew up in Fresno, and so anyway, Fresno.
No
I'm sorry, but nevertheless, and there was a lot of tough kids, growing up. So when I used to sing, I used to get razzed a lot. Oh, maybe you look like a little sissy up there, and this and that and the other. So I was kind of like, and so anyway, I even got beat up a couple of times, and because I wasn't, a tough guy. So that was the first obstacle, but again, that just made me want to do it even more. After I got past that, it bothered me for a little while, but after that, I realized that, what, I don't need these kind of kids in my life anyway. I'd rather just, sing the blues and feel it. So pretty much that's where it started. Took a break for some years. I ended up, as I grew older, ended up getting married and raising a family, but I was always listening to the blues on the radio or whatever vehicle I could find to hear it, and then I would play the harmonica along with it all the time. So it was always in my heart. It was always something I did, like even on the side when I was working a real job, but it didn't really come to fruition in the way of actually performing until I went through my first divorce, and that was like I was in my 40s already. And when that happened, that's when I said, it's time to get out and put a band together and show these people why I love to perform. And it's not so much just performing, it's entertaining. And to me, it's really a spiritual thing, because I was raised in the church as well. And I did sing gospel, and I sang some in a gospel group for a little while. So it's always been there, the music. It just always drove me. It's just that was my getaway from,
Well, it's a gift to be able to give it to other people.
You hit the nail on the head. It's a gift.
Yeah,
I was blessed.
So who were some of your mentors?
Well, after the Beatles, and of course after I found out in Rolling Stones, where they got all their inspiration from, I come to realize that some of the guys that really made it happen were guys like Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, B.B. King, of course, rest in peace, and Little Walter for the harmonica. And I started listening to their music, and that's when it just really took off. That's when I started to understand the true meaning of what it's all about. So they were my first inspirations, and I pretty much favored, there's different styles of blues, so I favored the Chicago style blues. So they electrified it, and they played a lot of clubs. But of course, the life and times of Muddy Waters, he got started, of course, from the Delta, the Mississippi Delta, playing on his back porch and what have you. So, by the way, that's what I have to say. I started producing a play, but let me back up a little bit, because during this time, I met a good friend of mine. I used to host I hosted a few of them at the time, blues jams at some local places here in town. But before that, back in 2010, I was doing a gig out at the Mosier Ranch. It was Blues and Barbecue, and I met this good friend of mine, Nan Mahan. I met her. She was pretty much running things there, and we pretty much hit it off, and I found out she was a blues lover, and she was one of the fans out there, so we pretty much hit it off. And then when she found out I was hosting this jam at this local club in Elk Grove, she used to come out with her husband and support it almost every Tuesday. We called it Tuesday Blues Day. And so after a year or so of her being there and watching my band at the time with a lot of these young kids that used to come, we pretty much collaborated. I asked her if she wanted to be my manager, my booking manager, and things just took off from there, and they haven't stopped. So I'm very grateful for Nan. Yes.
Great.
And because of her writing and my producing, we were able to put together a musical history of the blues play that featured some of these kids that, or most of them, I should say, that used to come out to the jam. And I got to tell you, they were like 13, 12, 13, something. And when their fathers or parents used to come up and say, "Is it okay if my son could get up and play?" And I'd look at them and I guess. And I'd say, "I'll wait till the end." So anyway, they'd come up and, oh my goodness, they start bumping some notes and my jaw would drop. I said, wow, these kids are really good. So I ended up using them in the plays, and it was just a hit. I was given a grant back in 2013 from the city of Elk Grove to produce this history of the blues play. And we did so well, it sold out all the seats that they asked us to come back and do it again. This was in May, and then they asked April, then they asked us to come back and do it in July.
Oh, wonderful.
And so we did it twice there, and we've done it a few times after that as well.
Well, we actually have a clip.
Do you? Oh,
we have a clip we're going to show you. All right, everybody, you're gonna get to see a little piece of what Gary's talking about.
All right, great. Yeah.
There we go.
So my kids.
Blues. Pure American music. Blues was born in the cotton fields and in the deltas of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Now, to know where the blues is going, you got to know where it's been.
Fabulous. I wish I would have been able to see it. I think it was gone at the time Nan told me about it, but what was it like for you being a mentor to these kids? It's got to be a very special feeling.
Well, I can only say that growing up, I never had a mentor. I never had anybody come and take me under their wing. I was always pretty much just a survival out on my own, and just with the drive and the love and the passion that I had for this music. So when these kids would come up and want to work with me, I would pretty much pair them off with some of the more experienced players, and they just really developed a love and a respect and admiration for everything that I did for them, giving them a chance to get out on stage, and play in front of a live audience. For some of those kids, that was the very first time they ever did.
Yeah.
And they just loved it. Oh, I mean, you just, there's no words to describe it when you see those smiles from year to year, and then they come up and thank you, Gary, appreciating their parents, thank you, Gary. And it's just, that was just the epitome of it all,
Yeah, you imagine music changed your life. It's changing theirs.
Of course.
It's keeping them on the straight and narrow and giving them something to look forward to.
Absolutely. Yeah, the straight and narrow.
Yeah. And it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I'm passing the torch onto these young up-and-comers in the blues genre. Yes, and I'm grateful to be able to do that.
Well, what was your favorite gig? You know, looking back over the years, what was your favorite?
The favorite gig?
Your favorite gig.
Oh, my goodness. Gosh, there's so many over the years, but I have to say it was when, it was actually really the musical history of the blues with all the kids. I mean, there was just like nothing, you know, especially when you see the audience roar. You know, after they've done their little bit there, and we even had this one kid. He was so small, it was short that we had to put him up on a table. I don't know if you had that, because he was so small, and he'd get up and wail, and everybody just loved it. So, in that respect, yeah, that was my favorite gig with the kids. But on the gigs with just the guys in my band, well, you know, there's too many to say. They're all good though.
They're all good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you sing, you play the harmonica, and do you still play the piano?
I'm a vocalist. Yes, I do. I also play the piano, and I go into these retirement homes via, of course, Nan Mahan. Thank you so very much. This is giving me these gigs. And that's another passion that I've developed, because again, that was my first love. The piano was my first love. I tried my hand at guitar. I can play a little rhythm guitar, but I was never a lead guitar player. But the piano was always my first love. I'll never forget, you know, my first wife being married. We'd go into a shopping center, and I'd head straight for the piano store. So I didn't mind. I told her, take your time when you're shopping, because I was in there just honing my chops on the piano. So that was pretty much my first love, is the piano. So I'm still doing that now. Yes, I am, and I look forward to it every time.
Wow, to have that gift, gosh, I'm envious. I've always wanted to play an instrument, but maybe in my next life. So where's your music taking you now?
Well, where I want to go with it is, I have this passion. You'd be surprised how many people out there don't really know much about the blues. So, you know, I was in the church for many years too with my first wife, and I can remember people telling stories about, well, you know, you got to stop preaching to the choir. You need to get out there to the unsaved and get them converted and what have you. Well, pretty much with this genre and this music, I find that more and more with every gig, that people are just saying, wow, that's pretty good. They start grooving and they start, you know. So I always tell them, you need to come out of the closet, people, and get in with these blues. And they love it. Yeah. And so that's my passion, is to get people turned on to the blues so they can do a little research and find out, you know, where it all originated, you know, from the legends that really paved the way, these guys that really felt the heartache, racism, what have you, you know. And so, that's really my goal, is to educate them, and not only that, but to entertain. It's one thing to be a performer and a singer, but you got to entertain them. You got to give them a reason to want to listen to you. There's some songs that I do that will they're just like off the wall, but they love them, you know. Yeah. I see them cracking up. I can see the husband and the wife just laughing, and some of them getting embarrassed, because the blues has no limits, let me tell you. There's some stuff that I have to, that untamed, you know, that I can't do, but for the most part, it's all pretty much fun blues. It's upbeat stuff too. Yeah, and even when I do a slow blues, there's a little comic in it, you know, so I can keep it real. Yeah.
Blues is sneaky. It's sneaky. You start listening to it, next thing you know, you can feel it just, you know, crawling up and getting into your head and your heart and your soul. And next thing you know, it's wonderful.
You're tapping your feet.
Yeah.
I've always said, I've heard it said before, blues is like a snake bite remedy. Okay. When you get bit by a snake, they cure you with a little bit of the venom. Same way with the blues. It takes the blues to cure the blues. And some people don't know that, but until you experience that, then you'll understand how that feels.
That's good.
Good feeling. So I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Good. Well, are you going to work on any more plays?
Yes, that is our goal. A lot of red tape, unfortunately, but we got to get over that hurdle. And it does take financing to get it done. And we're working hard at keeping it, like, especially in the schools, to get the young kids educated, you know, with the blues. We pretty much just focus on the life of this Muddy Waters, the Chicago blues man I mentioned earlier, because he's pretty much, you know, the whole focal point of the blues to me. There was a lot of blues before him, but this particular style, the Chicago style blues, you know, it goes from where he started his roots, you know, and then making his way into like Texas and Kansas cities, and just finally ending up in Chicago, where he pretty much was the main attraction, the main star, and he influenced so many legends today that have actually passed through his band. So my goal is to continue with the play, okay, and whatever venue we can get, and if anybody out there is interested, www.garymendozaband.com. You can look at our website. I've got some information on the musical history of the band, plus, of course, my band, which is a 4 and 5 piece. Yeah. So depending on the gig, I do a 4-piece, 5-piece, sometimes even 6 guys, depending on how much it pays. So I can pay these guys. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
You know, with the music not being introduced in all the schools, I know, you know, the arts have been something that parents have been struggling to get more of, and, you know, of course it costs money.
It does.
But, you know, with people like B.B. King on their way out and Stevie Wonder, you know, we need someone to fill these shoes.
We do.
And, you know, bless you for going out and, you know, being a mentor to these kids and, you know, kind of keeping it alive.
I'm very proud to say that even 10, 15 years ago, I was bringing these young kids and letting them play in my band, and a couple of them have made it really big, like in Nashville. And so I'm really proud to say that, you know, I was an influence and a pivotal part of their success, you know, and so to me it's like, that's what it's all about.
There you go, giving, We're almost out of time, so why don't you give your information so everyone knows how to get in touch with you and where they can find your wonderful music.
www.thegarymendozaband.com, or I should say GaryMendozaBand.com. You can find a lot of the information of where we'll be playing next, the projects that we have that we're working on that are up and coming, and pretty much a history on the band bio along with my bio, and a lot of pictures. And so, so for people that are blues lovers, I want to say thank you for supporting the blues and supporting local bands and live music. And for the people who aren't quite sure about the blues, well, trust me, when they hear the Gary Mendoza Band, they'll be converts, trust me. So, it's a lot of fun.
Good, that's super. Well, let's give some information about the Story Connection.
The Story Connection airs the second and fourth Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our companion show, Paranormal Connection, airs the first and third Thursdays of each month. Each episode repeats the following Friday at 1:30 p.m. and Saturday at 5:30 a.m. Watch these programs online at the same airtimes by going to accesssacramento.org and clicking Watch 17. In the Sacramento region, you can see us on Comcast Channel 17 and on AT&T Channel 99. You can find previously aired shows on the Story Connection YouTube channel. For information on upcoming shows and previous Story Connection guests, go to storyconnectiontv.blogspot.com. You can contact us at storyconnectiontv@gmail.com, and don't forget, find us on Facebook, become a friend, and become a fan.
In the couple minutes we have left, do you have CDs?
I do have a CD that that I have for sale, and you can pretty much find it at my gigs or cdbaby.com. I have a CD there that I did 8 or 9 years ago. It was a live performance that I did out in San Luis Obispo, California. I forgot to mention that. That's where I started my first band when I lived there back in 1995. So I got a live performance there. So it is for sale, and they can check it out. Or on my website. You can purchase it off of my website.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I see that you have brought your harp.
It's the Mississippi saxophone, that's what they call it. And I have to give credit to Little Walter, the guy that electrified it in the Muddy Waters band.
Okay.
So I think I'll just blow. Is it okay if I just blow a little?
Yeah, let me just, thank everybody for the show, and thanks for volunteering your time, everybody.
You got it.
All right. And let's let her rip. Thank you.
Okay.
Come back again and check Gary's band out.
I miss my dancers. gypsy woman told my mother before I was born. She got a boy child coming. Gonna be a son of a gun. Gonna make you pretty women jump in and shout. Then the world gonna know I said, oh, what it's all about. 'Cause I'm the hoochie coochie man. Everybody knows I'm him. And there you have it.